I'm Christy here at My Artful Adventures, and today's Vintage Wednesday is using music paper. So if you've got some vintage music paper, that's going to work out even better, right? Although, you know, you can make some look a little vintagey if you want to. Let me put you down on my workspace. I don't really have everything all quite ready, but we're going to get going here. Okay. So, I still got a cup of coffee here. Let me move that out of the way. I don't have time for drinking coffee right now. Plus, it could get spilled everywhere. You guys, so I've got these little baby aspirin things. They had me start taking these every day after I had that little stroke last year. So they said, okay, you're going to start taking these all the time. And so I got these, and they were like a 3-pack in this tiny box. And so I took a couple out this morning. I thought, well, I don't need this whole box. And so I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, you know what? I do need this little box. I'm going to use this little box today. So we're going to cut this part. And we're going to use it for a tiny little mini journal. How about that? And you guys, I just always laugh saying I'm not really a true junk journaler. Look at me, junk journal. And I'm going to use this for a tiny cover. What do you think? Hey, Danette, how are you? Hi, Kathy. Let's see. So I'm just going to cut the edges off here. Whoops. Okay, do we need that part? No, we don't need that part. Well, wait, is it flat? Well, we'll have to work with it. It's not exactly flat. It looks like the way that comes together, that it depended on this edge. But that's okay. We'll make it work, right? As long as it goes around the edge. And maybe we can just trim that off and make it all the way straight. I know. Isn't this a great idea, even if I say so myself? So we're going to cut these off. And then I can cut the other edges off and trim them up straight with the paper trimmer, right? Oh, I don't know why I'm cutting that part because it's going to stay off. Why is it doing something so simple like this seems so hard when you're doing it live and on the camera? Right? Oh my goodness. All right. So we don't need these two sections either. The little flaps, let's get those off. You know what? Well, I hate to do a lot with my paper trimmer because this is going to mess up the blades. I actually wish I would have brought a different one over here to use. You guys, I found a really good price on some blades for one of my trimmers. So good that I bought a whole little box full of them. I mean, that's how great of a bargain it was. Where's the box of blades? Now, I think I took a whole bunch of stuff. We have this building outside that is, it's like, basically, it looks like a big barn. And we call it the barn. And I have moved some things out there here recently. I think, oh yeah, that's going to have to be straightened out, you guys. That is really crooked. Super crooked. Yeah, I wish I had a different trimmer out here. Because I actually don't know if I've got any more of these blades handy. Well, that's not too bad. That's really not hardly any thicker than cardstock that I use. So hopefully that didn't do a whole lot of damage. Look at that. Look how off this part is, you guys. Look at that. That is really off. Well, I'm glad I decided to trim it. Oh, where that double part on that side, on our spine, that's kind of thick. And I think we should trim that. Sometimes you don't want to just pull because it'll leave, sometimes it can tear off more than you were planning. And, or, you know, yeah, tear off more than you're planning, or it could rip a chunk out not the way that you wanted. I think these edges look okay. You know, now I'm looking at that, I wonder if this is very straight. You know, because I don't know, maybe I should hold it up here. Yeah, I should straighten out the edges because I don't think it's squared. This way at least we'll have a little bit more of a squared edge, because we did these straight, so now we know that those edges are straight, so now we can do these. Okay, this should be pretty squared off. Now, whether it's kind of wonky this way, that remains to be seen. Okay, so now we've got our little, look at this. Now, isn't that funny? Look, now you get this part. This is going to be a good thing we're covering it up. So I've got our music paper here. And so I thought that we're probably going to have to use 2 pages. And I was looking at the way, you know, these old hymn notes like this, you know, you've got a song over here. Most of them are one song, but even if it's a two-page song, that's going to put the front over here and then over here. So either way, you know, it's not going to work perfect, right? So what I'm thinking is I'm just going to take 2, and maybe I won't use any title, and that way it won't matter. You guys, how old is this book? How old do you think this is? Let's see. Look, it's got somebody's name in it. I had got this from one of those half-price books. Gospel music, Chicago and Philadelphia. It doesn't really. Did I miss like a copyright page? Look at these would be cool to use for something too, wouldn't they? Look at these photos. Oh, there's a. You guys, I had no idea those were all in there. How fun! I don't see a date. It just tells if you want more of them. Well, this would be kind of a fun thing to have in a in some kind of a journal, right? In both round and shape notes. Do you guys know what shape notes are? When I was growing up, that was the kind of hymn notes that we used were shape notes. And what shape notes are, let me see, these are round ones. Shape notes are each note, like depending on what the note is, they're a different shape. And so for people who really don't know music, it's a little bit easier for them to, you know, to kind of learn the music. And we only had a cappella singing where I went to church. And so and I think it's a lot more prevalent in places that do a cappella singing to use shape note music. Isn't that cool? I love it. Imagine the things, and you know what? I forgot I had it until yesterday, and I was digging through some stuff, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, let's just take a couple of pages out. Oh, look, those are easy. I wish I would have some idea how old the book is. We'll just take a couple out. And you know, when you start taking them out, and they're side by side, they come out so much easier. So, I don't know here. Let's see. What do we think? Should we just, look, if we put them together, you know, this is just so tiny. I think I'm going to trim off the edges on this, and then I'll glue these together, and then we'll cut it the size that we need. I think that's a good way to do this. But, yeah, and let's have a lot of the margin out on that back spine. I think that'll work. I gotta think it through, right? While I'm working. How about you guys? You know, I said that the other night when I was working on Anne's journal, and it's like, I just don't do good if I can pull the things out, and it's like once I get something out and I kind of have an idea, or like the basic idea for the project, I don't really know where it's going. I'll pull some things out to use, but you know, that's as close as it gets to a plan. How about you guys? What do you think? How do you work? Do you plan it all out? Can you see it in your head and then you work on it? Or does it just come together for you as you work? I'm curious. Curious minds want to know. Okay, so we can put this on here, and I'm just going to glue them together. Let's use some Fabri-Tac on it, because that will make it easy to slide into place. And it's a little thicker and slimier. And I think I can, oh, you know what? This bottle of Fabri-Tac has really stayed moist. Probably better than most of them that I use. I need a quick piece of paper to put under this so I don't get it. I don't know where my mat is that I use sometimes under here. Almost stuck my hand all in there. Okay, so let's put it like this. You know, and the funny thing is, I'll go through these, and as I'm going through, it's like, I know so many of these songs, it's like, you just kind of want to sing along. It's like, just sing along, you have your own little sing along. Okay, now, I think that, I'm pretty sure that probably has spread out really nice under there. So that'll be nice for that. Okay, and now, we're going to put it here. We're going to just put that in the back there. And let's see, how shall I do this so we know exactly where it's going to be? Well, oh look you guys, the titles could fit. I didn't think the titles would fit. Should we leave the titles on? Should we do titles, or should we just use the music part? What do you think? Linda says she plays it by ear. Ann says it kind of develops as it goes. Yeah, right? Yeah, me too, Ann. That's kind of the way it is. What do you think? Should we leave the titles? I'm curious to see what you think. I kind of think yes. I think that'd be kind of fun. As long as we're going to use that anyway, right? But then, can we even get one? I guess we could put, my phone, I can hear myself over there. Oh, you know what I wish I would have done? I wish I would have put this one overlapping this. I always kind of like this front one to be overlapped on the back, and I didn't do it. I didn't even think of that. Leave the titles. Yeah, I think so too. Thank you. I love audience participation. Okay, let's do it. So, I gotta see. Okay, let me get out a ruler. Let's do it this way. I know what we can do. Let's put it like this. We'll kind of center the front one. I think that will work the best. So we'll center the front one. So that needs to be cut like about there. And then it needs to be, well, you know what? I wonder if I could fold the edge over, you guys. Well, it doesn't have enough on the top to fold. Well, maybe, but I'm afraid it'll break. Well, nope, I don't think it will. I don't think that it will break. Let's do it. Let's do it, you guys. So, but I don't know. I need to make my mark on this side. Okay, well, if that's what we're going to do, let's go ahead and cover this with our glue. And then we'll just go for it. See, I told you I just make it up as I go. And I like the way that this kind of, if you're not using too much and it's still really liquidy, I like how it will, you know, spread out as you press it down. Okay. Okay, let's do it. All right. I think that's gonna work. Oh, look, and rubbing it from the back, that keeps me from having to put too much stress on that paper. And this is kind of lifting up a little bit. I'm going to put a little more glue under here. sure that lays down. Okay. So I don't mind having all of this to go over. And then let's trim this off down here. And we'll cut some out here. Just not all the way to the corner. Leave a little bit. All right. And now we'll start tucking it over. You guys, I've never done one of these. I've never used a little box as a... I've seen people do it. I mean, it's not an original idea, right? And the paper just isn't that thick. I wish I would have done a little more. Okay, so one of the best things to do is really kind of gently start your paper to fold like this. And that's a better idea. And then you can fold it in. Look, isn't this going to be a cute... And you guys know I like tiny. Of course, you know, we had... This is tax week. I didn't do Tiny Tuesday yesterday. I just thought, you know, I need to just focus on something else today. All right. So there we go. And our last little sides here. You guys, I think I'm going to... I think I'll cut some of this paper and use for the inside cover too. What do you think? I think that'd be cute. Yeah, you guys, I was thrilled when I found this book the other day. I think maybe it was even yesterday. It was either yesterday or the day before. And so I thought, oh, I forgot that I had that. And I was thinking about using some different music. And then today I'm like, why wouldn't I just use that music from that book? There we go. And then just, you know, be real careful. Make sure those parts are laying down there. Those are kind of... There's got a little bit of extra there as it bends. So we'll do this part here like this. There we go. Look at that. I love it. What do you guys think? Isn't this a cute little size? How big is this? This is not big at all. So we've got a... I've never done with the small. This is about 3 1/4 by 4 5/8. That is a fun little size. I love it. Okay, what do you think? Should we use some of the same paper to cover the inside? I think so. Give me some hearts if you think that's a good idea. Titles at the top. Okay, yep, we got our titles in there. Now let's go ahead. We'll have to use another couple of pages. Well, no, not really. Will we? Oh, look, you guys, we could turn one sideways. I think I'll do that. Just trim a piece out here. And let me see. We need it to be about 7 1/2. Oops, this is going to be a problem. So this needs to be 7 1/2 by, let's do about 4 3/8. I have to write them down or I'll forget. I will forget. That's just how it goes. So let's trim off. Well, let me see here. How do we want this to lay in here? I think, what's on this side? He promised to keep me. That's kind of cute. Oh, I'm not really sure it needs to be cut that direction. We'll have to trim it off a little to the side. Well, I am going to trim a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. Oh, let's straighten out one side first. We got to straighten the sides out first. You enjoy homemade journal? Yeah, you guys, you know, I love mini about anything that's a mini anything, and I don't know why. So 4 3/8. Let's see where that puts us along here. That, you know what? I'm going to trim some here, and then I think I'm going to trim some off the other side again. And make it a little bit more equal on each side. Okay, and then just a tiny bit. And look, we don't want to trim too much because we've got this great color just from the natural aging on the pages. Look at that. That's kind of what we go for when we're trying to do distressing ourselves, right? Oh, it's kind of raggedy. Not too bad. Okay, let's put that down. Oh, you guys, I am just so pleased with this. I just think this is adorable. Just so fun. All right. I could tell it all. Okay, I want this side to be on the back. So we need to make sure we get the edges good so they'll seal down nice. And even if they don't, that is one of the great things about using those little applicator bottles with the little needle nose tips, because you can get those into some teeny tiny little spaces if you need to. And you know, I often need to. Okay, so let's get this on here and lay it in. There we go. And then you want to make sure that it's going to fold good here. We'll squish it down. We'll squish it into place. And that's another reason why it's nice to use something that's got a little bit more open time, where you can where it's not just glued so fast that you can't move it. Now that other glue that I use, that reptile glue, it grabs pretty quick. And you know, I do like that about it, but you know, it also can be kind of a problem. Oop, I got some air bubbles in here, you guys. Well, let's push it into the little spot. Now, I don't know. It might not be completely flat. Okay. It's okay. It's not too, it doesn't have too much air in there. I think it'll work. Ta-da! I think it's gonna work. Okay. There we go. Hi, Deshelle. How are you? Okay. There we go. Oh, look. It cracked along here, you guys. It did crack. Okay. Here's what I'm going to tell you about that. Don't worry about it. Now, you could take some washi tape and kind of decorate it, and, you know, to put along the edges if you wanted to do that. But you know what? Here's something that I do kind of often when I have some paper that is cracked like this. This is my reptile glue, and it will dry clear. And so a lot of times I will, now see, it's lifting up along here too. So sometimes what I do is I will just put it along here, and then I'm just going to rub it down and just leave it. So what it does is it basically just gives it a little bit more protection. And you know, yeah. Is it going to be maybe a little bit shiny when it dries? Yeah, but do I care? No. You know, and it'll seal that up too. Kind of squirt it down in there if you needed to. But it's going to kind of seal this, and then it's going to protect that. So it's not going to tear anymore along through there, right? Because now, oh yeah, see, look, it's lifting up. I'm going to have to, see what I said about the little needle nose bottle? See why that's great? You can just put it in there. Okay, now we'll just put that down there. And this paper is so, you know, it really is kind of fragile because it's so old. So you don't want to rub on it too much or you really will damage it. It's going to, you know, start kind of coming apart. This one isn't so bad. The front really didn't do it. Nope, there it is. It's going at the edge up there. So let's go ahead and let's just put a little bit. Now, if you've got something fun, you know, one of the things you can find black and white washi that kind of looks good for something like this. Sometimes it has, I actually think I might have one that has some notes on it. I think I just had that here the other day. I was using it on something. I'll have to find that. The one thing about it though, and I even had quite a few that were black and white that were Tim Holtz washi tapes, and the one thing about some of those black and white ones is they seem to yellow. I don't know what it is. So they don't really stay, you know, super white, but you know, if you're using it, if you like to do vintage things, you know, it's not going to be a problem, right? Okay, so I'm going to kind of smooth that out. Okay, so there we go. There we got our little cover done. Now, something else that I found, I've got this like a date book, and I started to take one out, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to start at the beginning, you know, even though this isn't January. And when I started looking at it, I thought, you know what, if I take it apart, because it's got signatures in it, so if I take apart the signatures, I could have I would be able to use like a spread across the whole thing, like, you know, a piece where the paper is like a full sheet, right? And so that's what I decided to do, was take these out. So let's try it. Let's do it, you guys. Let's work on trying to get these out of here. Now that's a full piece. This little, let me get that out of the way. This piece here is one piece. Oh, what is that year? Oh my gosh. This is so funny. I know somebody who that's their birthday year. Not me. How funny. So I'm going to take this now and try to just kind of start slicing it open here. Now, I haven't done very many of these, guys, so be patient. Be patient. Be kind. Be gentle with your comments. How many of you have done very many of these and taken the backing off of these old books? I did one time that wasn't even, now I had a bunch of those Reader's Digest, but you know, the one that I did it was a newer book, and it was something that I had donated to, and if you donated, you got like these free books. And so when mine came, I had like this whole box full, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, that was not what I had in mind at all. And so so here I've got this whole bunch of books. They had really nice covers on them, and they had this beautiful, I think they were kind of a white cover, and they had this beautiful blue inside cover page. And I was able to open one of those and get the back, the pages out, and leave this to where I could cut it. And I already had my my inside cover. I just overlapped it. I left a little bit, so like this I cut and just left some like this, and the same on the front, and I was able to just use it for the covers. Sometimes you don't know what you're doing and it just works out, right? That's better than the alternative, not knowing what you're doing and it's a complete disaster, which can go either way, right? Okay, so here we go. There's that. Now let's see. Let me see. I think I can kind of see. I don't know. Here, how are we gonna do this, you guys? I don't know. I can see where the little signatures are. But how easy? Okay, I think I see one here. Maybe not. Maybe that wasn't. Maybe it's right here. Well, anybody got any hints? Tips or hints for this? Oh, here we go. There, I think I got it. I think I found it. So all you got to do is once you find the edge, then you're just going to separate it. And, you know, you might have a few that are not, that don't come out. You might lose a few pages, right? But once we do this, we should get some full pages to go across. And then I thought that would be fabulous to have some full little sheets, because then I can use them not just for this, but for some other ones. No, I don't think that was the spot. Oh, I think it's this. Well, if it's not, it's probably close. Well, wait, if it's not the spot. Oh, you guys. Well, look, there's that. There for sure is a center, but I don't think. Nope, I've split some of it. I split it, you guys. Well, it was somewhat of a fail. I'll have a few. I'll have just a few, and that's all that are the whole page. I don't know. Next, when I do the next one, I'll have to try harder to find it. Now, though, now you guys, now we can see that. Look. See? It's got the little, where the signature was done. Now I've only got like 2. I've only got 2 pages where I've got the whole thing. No, I've got more than that. 1, 2, 3. I've got 4. I've got 4 pieces. Look, they've used, this is a different, look you guys, can you see? It's different. It's got one section here, a section here, and a section there. So whatever that binding method is a little bit different than our 3-hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've got 6 holes that they did that with. I've never seen one like that. Of course, I'm not used to taking these apart so often. Okay, and then we'll just take this, split them and pull them out. Maybe. Well, that seems easier said than done, right? Oh, those just are not loose. They probably had some of that glue back there. Okay, but we should be able to lift them off on this way. Look at that. Ta-da! And we got a full sheet. See, that was what I was going for. That is exactly what I wanted. Well, this one isn't. Why isn't that one coming out? But we still got to be careful. They have been in there so tight, they just know they should live there. Right? Okay. Well, that is weird. Okay, so that's the only... Well, you guys, I don't know. Now, that doesn't even look like this is the center. Oh, yeah, it is. I was going to say, they're so tightly bound in there, it didn't even look like it was hardly the center. So we'll just be real gentle. There we go. Oh, I love it. Look at that. Aren't those going to be great for some future things to use? I'll have to work on that some more. All right. And this, I think what I'll use is this one right here. And let's see, I don't know how big are our little pages gonna be. Our little pages could be about Oh, I don't know. I don't even think 3. I think we should make them like 2 7/8 wide. So that, oh my goodness. Then what's that doubled? Why did I do that? That's ridiculous. So it'd be 4, and there's 7/8, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 5 3/4 doubled, I think. Maybe I should do a plain piece of paper before I'm going to do that. Do a plain piece of paper first. So let's see if 5 3/4 folded in half is going to be the right size. There's always a way to like give yourself kind of a little template, right? Look, it's so tiny. It's so tiny. Let's see. It could maybe be a smidge bigger. I don't know. But for sure, this way, you're not going to have, by the time you get some bulk in it and you start having that page creep where, you know, each page sticks out a little farther, that's probably not a bad size. So if we do it that size, then what is this measurement here? Let's see. I'd rather make it something that's not hard to remember. Let's do 4 1/4. Okay. So we have got, what did I say? 5 3/4 by 4 1/4. And that'll be our page size. So now we've developed our page size, and now we know what we're going to do there. Well, if we're going to fold this in half and we wanted our piece of paper to be the same, what is that? 2 7/8. Okay, 2 7/8. That's half. So if I've got something folded, I need to remember that number too. Who knew there would be so much math and having fun, right? Okay, so 2 7/8. Let's see. That's right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it here. You kind of lose some, but you know, we can keep those little doodads, right? What was this one? 4 1/4. So we've got that. And now we've got a page. Okay. 41 past the hours, and we have a page, you guys. Woohoo! Oh, this one still has, does that still have some thread? No, it's just got some marks where it was. Look at that. Is that adorable or what? So we've got this one. And let's see, what else could we add in here? I've got some other things here. Where did I put them? Where did I put them? I like this. And I thought, you know, this is from an old ledger. I kind of like that. I think well, if we fold that, I didn't even know these were going to be so tiny. Oh my gosh. You guys, that's exactly the size we need. How perfect. I didn't even plan it. Don't you love those happy accidents? Math can take the fun out of a project. I know. Isn't that the truth? Oh, Pam, you are so right. Oh, clip it. Oh, Mama P, I don't even know it. You cut the string for the center of each signature. Yes, and next time I'll have to go through there and find those, and then I'll be able to do that. That's smart. I should have done that. But did you see how tight they were? Even when I took that out, those were so tight still. So this was 4 1/4, and I think I might be able to get two pieces out of this, you guys. And it's so, the spine is so big. I mean, we're certainly not gonna run out. You know, actually, you could probably do a couple of signatures in here if you wanted to. But it's just a fun little booklet, right? So we got 2 of these. We've got this. I had a piece of like an old sewing pattern thing. Oh, I've got a piece of this. I used some of this the other night. Let's put another piece of this in. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use the raggedy edge on this one. Actually, I think I'll use, let's do this. Well, I'm going to do something different. Let's rip these. Let me get out my stainless steel ruler. I don't have one of the fancy ones like I keep seeing some of you guys using. I don't have one of those. But, you know, I can't do it like that. I need to do it like, let me see. Let me put it so it's squared up here on my mat. And that'll be easier. So I'll hold that down there. Okay. Well, I don't need all, ooh, I should have held it tight all the way down, but that's okay. It's going to be long enough. And so we need 4 1/4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4. We need to do it over here. Okay. Okay. And then, how tall was it? No, 4 1/4 was how. 4 1/4. That's how tall it is, and then it needs to be. Oh my gosh! And now I've got the numbers written down, and it's like I don't even know what the numbers meant. Goodness gracious! No, that. So we're doing 4 1/4 that way, and oh, 5 3/4. So this is. This was the 4 1/4. That's the height. Oh, I did it wrong. Now my lines aren't going to go the right direction. Oh well. What can I say? So this needs to be 5 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3/4. Well, now I've got a little piece down there that's really messed up. And I'm just using my ruler with the measurements on the grid mat. Okay, that's kind of got a little messed up there. Let me see if I can tear that ever so slight. I don't know if I can. I don't know if it'll tear that close. There, that's okay. There, that worked okay. I can live with that. And so now we've got this. Oh my gosh, can you believe it took me that long to make another little page? No wonder I use my cutter, you guys. I'm a lot faster with the cutter, right? So now we've got several little pages here. I almost feel like I kind of, oh look, now we've got accounting things here. We've got another ledger sheet here. I kind of think that we should, and we, you know, why waste this piece? Let's do it too. So 5 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3/4. Yep. Let's just tear this piece too, and we'll just have a little short piece. There we go. Because they don't have to all be the same, right? They don't have to all be the same size. So we have that piece. I'm thinking, or we could have used this for like some little pockets or something. We could still do that. We could take some of these and make some little low pockets or whatever we want to do. But you know what? I'm thinking, well, I don't know. I was thinking maybe we should use another piece of the sheet music and make for the first cover, but that stuff has been, I think I will. I think I'll use one more piece. Let's do it. Okay. So, and I'm just going to cut this one. I don't want to tear this one. tall. No, wait. Wait, how tall is this? 5. Yeah, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna fold it this way, so I want the 5 3/4 over here, and then 4 1/4 this way. Oh, Pam, I agree. All this math is starting to take the fun out of it. Thanks, Linda. Linda says it's going to be wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so now we've got, and you know what I like about the little hymnal pages is that then you've got numbers too. How many of you like to have numbers just scattered throughout some of your stuff? Do you guys like that too? I do. We can put that on here. And I don't know how many pages we want to put in here. Let's go ahead, now that this is kind of set and dried, let's put a little bit of edging of something fun on here. Oh, this little doily. Oh, this doily is way too bright. I've got a couple of things here that we could put on here. I've got this. This is some of that or dirt dyed lace that that Liz from Crafting with Nani makes from out there on her ranch in West Texas. And actually, I kind of like that. It's very subtle. I'm going to use that. I'm not even going to look at the rest of it. I like that. That's going to be what I'm using. So let's trim the edge more flat. It's not super flat. Actually, I'm going to trim a little bit off. Well, that's one of those things that as you trim it, it wants to move. Yeah, let's put that on there. I like it. I think that'll be pretty. And should we run a little bit of it off of the edge or just keep it all on the book? What do you think? Oh, that's kind of pretty. A little bit off. I like that. Let's do that. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the glue right here on the book and then just stick that down. But, you know, I've noticed it's really funny. You know, when you are dyeing different things, depending on the fiber content, it's so interesting as to how different they take the color. Because sometimes, like, I've seen a lot of the things that she uses, and I'm sure this is the way it is with whatever anybody is using, whether it's, you know, dirt dye or whatever. It just depends on the fiber content as to how well it takes the dye. Like, this is really light, and some of the things are much deeper. The color is much deeper. Okay, you know, you gotta turn it until it feels right as to where you're cutting, right? Why is that? Okay, ta-da! You all know that one of the investigations came to an end and the fabric scissors were found, right? Let's do this because this is going to be so much easier. And that, my friends, is why you have a pair of fabric scissors that you don't use for anything else. Right? Who's with me on that? Oh, that's kind of crooked. And now it's too late to wiggle it anywhere else. That's okay. Let's do the other side. Oh, my time is coming to an end. This has been fun, you guys. I love Heidi's events. And I'll just keep working on this and getting my little pages in and decorate some other. I am not a super fast crafter. I watch some of these gals and the stuff that they can accomplish in an hour just blows my mind. It's just like, how'd you do all that in an hour, you guys? This one, I think I'm actually going to cut both ends off after I get it on. And let's get it straightened out here. Could it look any more vintagey than this, you guys? I'm very pleased. Very pleased. Especially when, you know, I don't always know what I'm going to do. Okay, now remember how we glued this? This has, you can feel where the glue is, but look, you can't really see it. And you could go over like with, oh, I know. Okay, let me trim this off. And then let's fix that. Let's do it from the back. It's going to be easier to cut it from the back. With the sharp fabric scissors. And I got it a little bit crooked. I'll do it again. And one more time. That lace wants to move as you're doing that. Okay, so we got that done. You guys, let's just use a little bit of ink on there, and that'll help even hide that more, right? You know, ink, doing some ink on your papers, it's like makeup for paper, right? Cover those little flaws. Now, I don't want to throw these away because these could be, the book is so tiny that we could really use, now, you know, of course, this is trash, but some of these other pieces we could use. So I'm going to make sure to keep those. But let's put a little bit of ink on here. Actually, you know what? I do not want to use this color. I think I've got that tea dye color because it'll be softer. It will be softer, kind of like that lace color. So let's get that brushed off some. And let's use a little bit of tea dye. And you guys, I usually use the oxide, the Distress Oxide, because it's part dye ink and part pigment. And because it's pigment, it kind of stays, you know, juicier. And for me, I just always have had a little bit of better luck with, well, that's not hiding much, you guys. Oh my goodness. In fact, it might have just brought attention to it. But look, it kind of edges it nice. Well, I think I'm going to just add a little more along here. But look how well that color goes with that lace. Just a little hint of something, right? I'll just probably do a little bit on the inside too. I'm going to do all of it. But yeah, so one of the things that I always do, which I told you, I usually try to make this top, the front part, like overlap the back. And so I didn't think about that when we were doing that. But I like it. That's one of my favorite things to do. And I think I'll just do a little bit in here. I'll probably, you know, ink some of those pages. I don't know that I'm going to do that front cover because it'll be running onto the lace. I don't know. I mean, not the front cover, the front edge. Oh, why not? Why not, right? So coming up after me is going to be Design Your Day with Patsy Ray. Oh my goodness. Some of these gals, I tell you, they vintage and things like this, that's their thing. So I hope that you are watching over in the Crafty Bunch on Facebook, and then it's just easy for you to you know, to go ahead and refresh your browser. Really, that's not too bad. And you know what? That's on the back. That part's on the back, so that's I'm happy about that. And we went ahead and put a little glue here, so, you know, to keep that from doing that there. Hi, Liz. Liz, did you see I used some of your lace here? I love it. Yeah, I was telling how, you know, just depending on the fiber content, how different it takes the dye, and this was super pale. So there we go. So here's a start to our, you know, to our little signature. We'll add some more goodies to it. We'll have to do some other things here. I don't know what else to put on the front yet. I'm not sure. But here's the start to our tiny, teeny, tiny little journal, right? Goodness, I could put, you know, I don't know. I could probably put at least 2 signatures in here, you guys. It seems kind of funny to put, you know, 2 signatures in a teeny tiny little journal. But hey, whatever, right? It's crafting. We do whatever we want. We can just make it up as we go along. Yeah, I would like to find, I wish I could find some other little, I don't know what I want to find, but we got to find something else to go on here. I'm not sure. Suggestions. What would you guys put? What would you grab to put on here next? Pam says it's inspired her to start a mini journal. You know what? I have had some tiny mini journals that were, actually they were made from envelopes, and they were some of my favorite things. And I think because they are small and they don't take very long to, you know, decorate each page, right? They're just fast. You guys, have a great day, and let's keep